Mason Greenwood has been spotted in Manchester. That is the young lad there being driven in a Mercedes. I will tell you exactly what is about to happen. But what is known for now that is about to happen is that man, Rasmus Hojlund's unveiling is on today as United go on to play a friendly game against Lens, the first at Old Trafford. Guys, it is today that we get to talk a little more about the history of this particular day at Manchester United. Welcome to the hotspot. My name is Webb. On this Saturday morning, I'm burning you with United news just as we build up to this friendly game. So subscribe as we do get proper into this Manchester United talk. Mason Greenwood for later. Let me start off with today in history. Guys, today is a special day in the history of Manchester United. Listen, 4 years ago today, Harry Maguire was unveiled as a Manchester United player in the hands of that coach, that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maguire unveiled by Man United for a record fee of £80 million, joining in from Leicester City. He went on 6 months later to be named the captain of Manchester United. The story of what happened after that is not for me to tell. It is for you to remember. But on this same day today, the former captain of the club that was unveiled back then is again a subject of a lot of debate. Should he stay? Should he go? I'll tell you about the future of Maguire in a bit. But today again, the same day Harry Maguire was unveiled by Manchester United, United is set to unveil a signing we've all been waiting for. That man, Rasmus Hojlund. It is Hojlund's unveiling day, like I've been telling you. Before that game against Lens, Manchester United will have a moment to unveil a striker who is expected to solve problems. Now, certainly, the fate of Rasmus Hojlund should not be anywhere close to that of Harry Maguire. First of all, I don't expect Rasmus Hojlund to become Man United captain, to be honest. Anytime during his stay there, he signed a contract of 5 years with an option of a further 1 year. I don't think really he is going to be thinking about the captain talk like Harry Maguire did. So I think that is out. Rasmus Hojlund is a striker. Harry Maguire was a centre-back, of course. So again, day and night in terms of the difference between the two players. So even their fate should be different. I don't want Rasmus Hojlund to come and shine for the past couple of months later after joining. But then later on, things go south for him, the way things unfortunately went for Harry Maguire. So whereas these two players are being unveiled on the same day, I think that's the only bit of history we will want to hear between Rasmus Hojlund and Harry Maguire at Manchester United. Now, of course, the comparisons will obviously start flying in from everyone and anyone between Rasmus Hojlund and Erling Haaland, and of course the work has got to be to start now. But I will tell you, for me, there is no pressure for Rasmus Hojlund because, first of all, he comes in for a lot of money, more money, by the way, than Erling Haaland joined Man City for. But not because he's a hotter player than Erling Haaland. It is because he has got more potential, but also it is because of the buyout clause that Erling Haaland had back then at Borussia Dortmund that was a little low. But in terms of what he was paid as a player and the agent fees, it was a lot. So, guys, that comparison in terms of money should not mount pressure on the young lad. This boy is a prospect, and United are sure they will milk the goals out of him, and they will come. The day is today that he's going to be unveiled. Now, guys, we can make a quick guess of his shirt number. I think if you see this before the unveiling, make a quick guess of what shirt number you think Rasmus Hojlund is going to be donning. But mine will be shirt number. Okay, wild guess. Shirt number 17. That's my guess. It's just a guess, guys. It's an honest guess. But shirt number doesn't matter. What matters is the goals. Will the goals do come? Let me know what shirt number you think Rasmus Hojlund is going to put in. But now, guys, today, like I said, is the day 4 years ago that Harry Maguire was unveiled by Leicester. Now, giving you an update on the Harry Maguire situation. Harry Maguire is still on his way out of the club. Now, according to the reports that came through from, I think it was the Mirror, they did report, a journalist called Nixon, he did report that apparently, by the way, West Ham United are advanced in their pursuit of two players from Manchester United, that is Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. In fact, they do report that distant medicals were being carried out between the two clubs. Already a lot is going on, and distant medicals have been conducted between the both of them, and apparently it is looking good. United sent their documentations through to West Ham United, and they have two clubs have been in contact since that £20 million bid by West Ham United was rejected by Manchester United for Harry Maguire. But as it looks, they seem to be so intent on letting go of Maguire and Scott McTominay as well, but also we know that Fred and Donny van de Beek are on their way out. And for United to proceed and bid for other players they do want in the midfield and central defense departments, they have got to sell players in those same departments. So it seems behind closed doors a lot of work is being done to clean the midfield and the defense, so that we make way for better players. Now, speaking of players United is looking to make way for, there is a new emerging youngster who is being linked with Manchester United. That's the young player that is Jared Braithwaite. He does play for Everton, and you know, he's a young lad, just 21 years of age, has been on loan to PSG, but he's looked at as a hot player in Europe, and in fact, that is what guided Everton's valuation of the player. They do value him at about £25 million. Now, reports are suggesting that United could be looking at him as a possible replacement for Harry Maguire, who is looking destined to go and join West Ham United. That is according to the latest reports that are coming through. So, of course, we'll continue to follow those reports as we always do. But also remember that United has been linked with Jean-Claire Todibo, that is from Nice. So, of course, there is a couple of defenders United will be looking at after failing out on Axel Disasi, who was already unveiled by Chelsea. So the focus now is on other options that are affordable. And this young player from Everton is being looked at as just one of those. He's being tipped to come through and replace Harry Maguire. So that's a bit of the status concerning Maguire, his replacement, and of course the future of several other players at the club. We know that for Fred and Donny van de Beek, Galatasaray and Real Sociedad are still advanced, and they are looking like the possible clear destinations for the two players, but there is nothing that has been concretized yet, so we are still waiting to see what exactly goes on. Guys, we will be having that first friendly game against Lens. It will be played at Old Trafford. So football is back at the Theatre of Dreams, guys. I do wonder what dreams we will be having. I will be having a nap later on, and trust you me, before we go for that watch along, I will have had a short dream, and I will tell you about my dream, because we are back to the Theatre of Dreams, guys. We are dreaming big now after the unveiling of Rasmus Hojlund. We certainly hoped for big dreams for us to literally be the Theatre of Dreams, and of course it will be a dream day for Rasmus Hojlund, because he's been a United supporter, perhaps even never dreamt of playing for Manchester United, but it is about to happen now, guys. Mason Greenwood was pictured in Manchester. That's him. Now, I told you a couple of months ago that this young lad had put out his house for rent, his house in Manchester for rent, and back then it was still unclear on what his future was like, but as it looks now, it seems he's actually not going to be heading out on loan. It seems actually Mason Greenwood could be staying. I told you before the start of the season, in less than 8 days now, we will know the fate of Mason Greenwood at Manchester United. But as it looks now, all signs point to one thing, that Mason Greenwood could be returning back in the squad and training with the rest of the team. I think the storm has cleared. He's finally out of the woods. He's not in any form of danger and trouble. He's a daddy, he's a husband to be, and certainly his mental health is looking impressive. It's beginning to improve. So as we speak now, he's believed to be back in United to try and find, to settle again and again focus on playing football again, pending that official announcement of his return. Guys, the positive news is that the announcement, and these are reports that we get from deep sources inside the club, whereas the official statement is yet to be made, we get from sources, credible sources, we get it that Mason Greenwood is in a very good position to return at Manchester United, that Erik ten Hag does want him back, and he has been insistent and clear that if we are going to rebuild this club, we've got to put our feelings aside. If the sponsors do not have anything, if the law does not have anything against the young lad, he made a mistake, mentor him. Erik ten Hag is a parent, and he will be saying, come back, boy. Of course, for him to return permanent, of course, the future, the long term will depend on his fitness when he does train with the rest of the teammates. And that is why, after the announcement from the club that he will be allowed to return and play football for United, Erik ten Hag has got to, and the team have got to assess him and see his levels of fitness and make a clear decision on whether it is right for him to return and slide back into the team, or he will need more time to try and regain his fitness. But for me, I actually don't think he will need a lot of time, because he's a kind of player who will probably feel self-motivated given what he has gone through. So for me, I've got no doubt that he will actually be returning and playing in that game, rather and sliding back to train with the rest of the squad. But let's wait, guys, for what is about to happen. The positive now is that this was him pictured in Manchester. That was yesterday. Guys, hotspot, I'm bringing it to you. Man United updates. My name is Webb. Again, let's continue, guys. Some update concerning Fiorentina, who are going to be playing against Newcastle United. That will be today. That game is not going to have the man Sofiane Amrabat. According to what we know, Sofiane Amrabat is out of that game between Newcastle and Fiorentina. It's a friendly. Now, what does that mean? It means that probably it is so likely that they are trying to protect him from any form of injuries and any risk that could see him miss out on the opportunity to join Manchester United. So, as we speak now, we don't expect to see Fiorentina field Sofiane Amrabat in that game against Newcastle United, as we do hope for a move to be pushed through for him to join Manchester United. Remember, again, the only thing halting the official bid by Manchester United is the fact that there are no sales being made yet, whereas work is being done. It is believed that work is being done to sell players like Fred and Tony van de Beek so that they get some money to bid for Sofiane Amrabat. Nothing has been materialized yet, so there is still some bit of patience needed. But I love the fact that Sofiane Amrabat is looking patient, and that's, again, a character you need if you're going to play in his role as a world-class player. To be a holding midfielder, you need patience. You need a lot of patience, because you do not really see a lot of the ball. Your job is to protect, wait for moments where you're going to intercept passes, make short passes, and protect the backline. So it takes a lot of patience and discipline. And for me, I'm already seeing that in Sofiane Amrabat. I'll tell you, I'm impressed by Sofiane Amrabat, and I'm thinking he has got all attributes to be a successful Manchester United player because of his patience. He even turned down a multi-million pounds offer from Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia to say, I'm waiting for Manchester United to come. Big kudos to you. Kudos to you, Sofiane Amrabat. I do hope the dream does come through, but that will only happen if sales are made by Manchester United. Hotspot, guys, I do continue. Now, that game will be happening later on today. Manchester United will be in action against Lens, the first game at Old Trafford. I do wonder what we are expecting to see. I do hope we see a decent number of fans in there to try and support the club and enjoy this one, because first of all, it's been a long time without football at Old Trafford. I do hope United does come and focus. Guys, I do like the fact that the business that United has done during the transfer window has actually sort of made United supporters forget a little or disfocus a little away from the takeover and concentrate on the football. And for me, that's a good thing. It's one, don't forget completely about the takeover, because we do want a takeover to happen. But I think the frustration we saw a few months ago, a couple of weeks ago, from Man United supporters and the Glazers, and the takeover and the excitement of Sheikh Jassim and his prospective buying of the club, was because there was not a lot of progress when it came to the transfers and the business that was done. But you realize the moment we signed Mason Mount and later on Andre Onana, and of course being linked to all these players, and we dealt with David De Gea, I think the focus shifted from the takeover to the football now, and for me that was a good thing. Because we are Manchester United, we're a football club. We shouldn't let the Glazers disfocus us from the important thing that is football. That's the beautiful game of the club we love. So for me, it's a good thing that we are focusing more on the football and we are believing what is happening, because we see what Erik ten Hag is doing and the excitement is back. I hope to see that bit of energy at Old Trafford when we do play Lens today, later on in the afternoon today, in that game at of course Old Trafford. It's going to be so important because, guys, we do want to focus a lot on the football, not for completely forget about the takeover, but let's give football a chance to take center stage in a football club, a big one like Manchester United. Before, to be honest, the Sheikh Jassim talk, the Glazers in, Glazers out talk had covered the good work that Erik ten Hag was actually doing at the club, and for me it was not fair. I mean, Erik ten Hag and the whole team, the players, need a lot of credit for what they have been doing, and it is painful that when we are in a period that looks most promising for us since Alex Ferguson left, we are focusing more now on things away from the football pitch. The Glazers, Sheikh Jassim, the Glazers, Sheikh Jassim, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, name them. For me, I love the fact that Erik ten Hag is beginning to bring us back to focus on the beautiful game. Now, if you haven't watched the games we played in the US, because obviously these games were played late in the night, I do think this is a divine opportunity for you to watch how good Manchester United looks in the hands of Erik ten Hag. And by the way, regardless who starts in this game, and we'll talk about the starting squads later on, regardless which players come in, United has got a shape that all players know, and we play nearly the same way. Nearly, regardless who is starting. I think even when Tom Heaton was starting in goal before Andre Onana's debut, he was actually doing almost the things Andre Onana did. Of course, the fact is Onana will always do them better, playing from the back and passing the ball. And Tom Heaton did it impeccably well, and that's again what you get. Now I did understand why Tom Heaton has been there. He's aging, closing to 40, but he's been there as a backup goalkeeper. He probably is part of the coaching team. His experience was seen in that game we played. I think it was against which team? The game in the US. I forget the game Tom Heaton started. So for me, I think it's very important, guys. It's very important for us to focus on the football and forget a little for a moment about the takeover, and let's enjoy the beautiful game, because Man United and Erik ten Hag are looking good. We are headed in the right direction. But guys, let's take it back one more time. Rasmus Hojlund is being unveiled today. 4 years ago, it was Harry Maguire being unveiled on this day from Leicester City. The fortunes for the two should be different as day and night, certainly. But I also told you Mason Greenwood was seen in Manchester, pictured in Manchester. What does that mean? His return is imminent. We are waiting for an official announcement. But also, Sofiane Amrabat is not in the squad of Fiorentina that will be playing against Newcastle. Does it mean he's trying to protect himself from possible injuries as he waits for a return? United seems to have found a replacement for Harry Maguire, who seems to be advanced in his move to join Newcastle United. I told you he's called Jared Braithwaite from Everton, rated at about £25 million. What do you think? Or should we go and try to get the Frenchman, Jean-Claire Todibo? Let me know what you think, of course, of all those stories. My name is Webb. This is the Hotspot. Thank you for being a part of it. I will be back later for that watch along, but also later on in the night, I should be dropping some updates concerning the biggest football club in the world. For now, enjoy the Rasmus Hojlund day. See you later, guys.